So in last week's video, I said that I was going to be building this, which is the Plasma Edge 2 from Tamiya, which is a TT02B chassis. Now, I have previously built, as some of my regular subscribers would be well aware, I have previously built this, which is just a regular TT02 touring car that I have raced a couple of times at Froome Radio Control Car Club. And I'm in my third trial race, and then I'll have to get BRCA membership if I want to continue racing there. I'm also going to give Westbury Car Club a try. West Wiltshire Model Car Club, I think it's called, a try. And yeah, so that's, I'll just put that out of the way because we've already covered that. So next on the agenda is this, and this is actually going to be my third attempt at building a Tamiya kit. It's the fifth one I think I've owned overall. I've already owned the Baja Champ I got for my 6th birthday and a MO3, I believe it was. I'm starting to... I'll have to double check which one it is. It might be an MO3, might be an MO4. Anyway, so next on the agenda... Well, I already said that. Anyway, so the Plasma Edge 2 is next up. Now, it does come with some brushed stuff. However, I'm not going to be using that because I do want to experiment with brushless. So I have got that, and I've also got that. And when I take everything out of the box and show you what we've got inside, I'll go over what these two are. And it's actually coming to 4:30, and I want to get this thing done with the sooner I can. And that's the other thing, actually. The main reason why this is... Because I bought this in... It was either late September or early October. I kind of lost track of that. The receipt's somewhere in the box. But there have been a few things that have been stopping me from doing so. The main thing being my body clock has been very easy to mess up. And the fact that there's just been a lot of other things getting in the way, which I've been prioritising. Because the TCO2 took me 6.5 hours to build. So God knows how long this is going to end up taking me. So let's just get on with it. Okay, jumping straight into the contents of the box. Let's take the top off and see what we've got. So we've got our penguin body and spoiler all in one mould here. I'm going to put that to one side. Wheel hubs. Here's our base, which doesn't look that quite much different to the regular TT02. I'll have to admit, I'll probably have to do a comparison of the two. Tyres. Here we have our brushed... Actually, I'm trying to find the motor in here somewhere, which... Where is it? Ah, so the motor is there, as you can see. It's a Tamiya torque-tuned motor. Now that I'm not going to be using. We've got our bags and parts. We've got some oil in there, so we could have oil-filled shocks on us, which is going to be really handy. So anyway, that Tamiya torque tune motor I'm not going to be using, because instead I'm going to be using this. Now if I just take this out of the box, you can see it. So it's a Surpass Hobby Rocket brushless motor, and I decided to give Surpass Hobby a try because of some good things I've heard about them. So there it is. I'll probably focus that on so you can just see it a lot better, but that is the motor. Yeah. So that's the motor we're going to be using, and yeah, can't wait to see how that runs. So ESC, can't quite work out what brand it is. It's a THW 1060, so it might be a clone of the Hobbywing Quick Run T60. So actually, the other thing about the brushed stuff is this stuff I'm going to put into something else, but I haven't decided what yet. I might put it in my Rustler because I need to get that thing running again. So instead of that brushed ESC, sorry, we've already talked about the brush. I've got a Surpass Hobby 60 amp brushless CSC, which has a connector, an XT60 connector, already fixed in place. So that's handy for me to have, because I was glad that Surpass Hobby offered this option, because XT60s for me are the best connectors. Seriously, just use XT60s, because a lot of people are unsure as to why I use these connectors, and then when they go and use them, they completely understand. So there we have it. There's our brushless stuff. Actually, I might give it a little test just to make sure it's working how it should be. Okay, so I've got all the electronics hooked up here. So I've got the 60 amp ESC, the rocket motor, I've got a 7.2 volt nickel metal hydro pack hooked up to a Turbo Racing RX41 receiver, which is quite awkward to bind. I might switch certain stuff up to FlySky because I might use this, which is what I'm currently using, which is a Turbo Racing P32, and I do love this, but it can be quite awkward to bind to receivers. So for maybe racing stuff, or where stuff where I'll need to put servo reversing on, I might need to put a FlySky one in there because how much easier they are to bind. I do actually have some FlySky receivers somewhere. I can't think where they are at the moment. Ah, here they are. So I do actually get quite a good deal with them. I think I paid no more than £45 for 8 of these, and FlySky stuff is actually really good. So put that aside. So got it all bound up. Just turn it on, and I'll admit the fan is a lot louder than I anticipated it being, and if I put it up to the camera, so it sounds like it's going to take off. Anyway, so first bit's turned on. Fast forward and work it up to well, it is responsive. There's no delay in current. Yeah, that works fine in my eyes. So there's also a little slight issue where you might just be able to hear it from the motor where it kicks up a little bit something, but it might be the case with Nimmys. I don't know how much charge is in this one actually if I turn it all off. So I'm happy with that. Let's just actually get back to the contents of the box. So I'll push that aside for now. So this didn't actually I'll zoom out a little bit. So yeah, so this didn't come with it. I bought this separately, but somebody just put this in the box altogether. That's my Jadland receipt. When did I buy this? Oh, September the 20th. So I've had this for a month, and I still haven't built it yet. That didn't come with it. I don't know why that's in there. Some more parts, bumpers in there, and yeah, that's all the black bits. We got window covers in there, and I have that horrible feeling that the stickers are going to be ones that you have to cut out yourself. Please don't tell me they are. There's a bit of tape in there which makes it a bit. Oh my god, I think they are. So that's going to be fun. Not. I'll probably just push that aside so I just don't have to avoid bumping it back in the backing. So, body instructions and actual instructions. Had something rattling. Oh, we have a crystal clear antenna pipe. Probably not going to use this because I do like to have these things for show only, but given the way the antenna is going to stick out of the body, where the windscreen would normally be, I just thought it looks a bit weird, so it just doesn't make sense. So there's our TTO2B manual, and I think without further ado, let's just crack on with this and get this thing over and done with. I didn't think to start a timer to keep track of how long I actually spent building it. So I'm just going to look back and see what settings I did. So 10 minutes of recording creates about 10 seconds of time-lapse video, so that makes it a lot easier to work out how long. So let's just go back and see how long the file was, if I can scroll it, because it's a bit hard to scroll up in this case. So the file total length was of that time lapse, unedited and unsped up, was 8 hours and 42 minutes. So that down to 8 minutes and 42 seconds. So every minute represents an hour. And yeah, 8 hours and 42 minutes later, nearly 9 hours. How the hell did I take? Well, I kind of know why. There it is. The current state of the Plasma Edge 2. And there was one mistake I ended up making. I ended up making a huge boo-boo out of this. But I'll just get this resting on something and show you what it was. Right, so I've got the chassis placed on top of a box which was conveniently on the kitchen table already. Now, if I power the car on... I also got to be very quiet with this so people have to... Now, I'm just going to put the throttle and pay attention to which direction the wheels spin round. Yeah. I'd be curious to know how that would run on the floor, but I wouldn't fancy my chances with it being 10 past 2 in the morning. Anyway, with that, so what I just need to do is get the gears switched around on there, but hopefully that won't be too much of a hassle. Okay, so after one cock up later... That'll do, that's much better, how it should be. I'm gonna stop talking for now because it's 20 minutes away from 3 o'clock in the morning and I did not anticipate spending as long. There are also a couple of bits you may as well notice, but I'll go over that tomorrow when I'm more wide awake. So yeah, I'll tidy up the table as well. Well, after a few hours of sleep, I feel wide awake enough to go over a couple of bits I haven't really talked about. So first of all, the servo, which I have used in my TTO2 previously, and I got a pack of 4 for £21, and these are Metal Gear servos, and they're actually pretty decent servos. They are DM996, and yeah, quite happy with it. Also, metal servo horn I've also decided to use as well, to avoid slipping, and I thought more reliable as well. All metal pieces here on the steering, well, some places where I just didn't really think it mattered much are ABS, and because the reason why I put these one in is because the TTO2 steering column aren't the greatest, and they keep catching on to whatever direction they keep going in, so I decided to put some all metal ones in here, and it's definitely going to be something a lot better than what would have come with. The other thing I want to talk about, so everything that's, like, for example, the ESC, the receiver, and the power switch, I've actually held on with something called mammoth tape, and I guarantee that that is not going to budge anywhere, because a lot of people use sticky back foam to hold it together, and it's just a mess to deal with, and doesn't adhere very well. But I want to say to anyone in the radio control group, use mammoth tape. It's a type of carpet tape, because once you put this in, it's not going to budge. The other thing I want to talk about as well, that I'm actually thankful, is the oil shocks, which I thought was going to make an absolute mess on the table, but actually they were a bit more of a doddle than I thought they would be. If I just drop it, you see, oh, kind of. Look at that. If I do around the back, that is brilliant. I might put this kind of suspension on my rising fighter because that has friction shocks on it, and it's something that I've been suggested to do. One thing I also want to talk about as well, I decided to mount the end of the shocks inwards, and the reason for that being is because I'll be able to have more ground clearance and be able to get on stuff like grass, cut through that a lot easier. But that's actually got a lot more ground clearance than I actually thought it would leave, and I'm pretty happy with that. So body posts needs to do a bit of trimming. The spoiler piece I've already mounted on the back. Now for the body and spoiler, I have decided to do this kind of thing off camera, just in case something ever does happen, and probably wouldn't be doing myself any favours. But I have been using these scissors, which I felt has given me a lot better using a knife compared to the Toyota GR8 body, which I cut out. So the spoiler, I haven't quite got to that yet. But I just want to have a go at cutting this body out, just to see how it looks on the buggy itself. Okay, so I ended up doing this while I had family over, so I did it while talking to them, so it's a good thing I didn't have the camera set up for recording then. Didn't really do the neatest of jobs on the front area. That was probably because of these scissors that I used. My dad suggested that I use these curved modelling scissors, but guess it just wasn't to be. The spoiler was partially done with a Stanley knife blade and with these straight scissors, which to me looks a bit of a neater job. The paint, I can't think. I put the paint down, so it might have been put back into the box because we had so much family over. So there, well, I've actually got it right there for my TTO2. If I just put it upside down and just do a little bit of a comparison. So yeah, it's practically the same as yeah, also the camera strap is kind of getting in the way and I don't really want to put that down for too long. Okay, so the only thing that really needs doing with this is painting and stickers, and also to get that body pole trimmed off. It's quite a nice thick one actually. I probably won't be doing that the day after I film this part of the video because it is Halloween tomorrow and I kind of want to do something for the occasion because I don't really make much of an effort for that day, but I keep meaning to. So I'll cut to whenever I can paint the body and also the spoiler next. Okay, so I've got the body and the spoiler laid out on a dust sheet that I have used for painting previously in the past. I've got it laid out on the patio. So this is the, I'll pull it out a little bit because I forgot I was zoomed up. So this is the colour I'm going to be using, Tamiya PS30 Brilliant Blue. And so without further ado, let me give it a good... I really should be wearing a respirator or a mask, but I have no idea where it's disappeared off to, so I don't have to put the shirt over my face to avoid the fumes. Here we go. Oh wow, that's a nice blue. There you go. Right, first coat done. So what I'm going to do is leave that for a few minutes and then put maybe a couple coats on, maybe a few more just to be safe. But yeah, that is a really nice colour. So I put the bodying the spoiler in the airing cupboard to dry it off a little bit. Probably might put that upside down a little bit, thinking about. So actually, how dry is it? Okay, it's quite dry. Might leave it in there for a few minutes and then get all... I actually took the covering off the spoiler already, because what I thought was weird was that this side had protective film on it, whereas this side didn't, and I painted that because I thought that would have been a bit more valuable, and also because of the stickers as well. I was worried that it was going to peel off the paint with it if anything ever did happen. So really happy with the colour in that, so just going to leave it in there for a bit and hopefully arrange stickers. I thought I'd just quickly stick both the body and the spoiler on the car and see how the colour looks, but I'm actually really happy with that. That is a really good blue. I accidentally said blue, kind of fitting with it being Halloween. So protective film is already off the spoiler, so put that off the way. While I'm taking the window covers off, I thought I'd explain why I didn't hydro dip this body like I did with the Toyota one from my TT02. The reason for that was basically because this is not a competition buggy, because the TT02B isn't a competition chassis. I'm messing up my words today and I don't know why. So it just didn't feel worth the effort to get all the hydro dipping equipment out, like the pool I used, the activator, the spray, everything. So it just didn't, feel right just hydro dipping, because the whole point of hydro dipping that was pretty much to be different and sort of stand out from the crowd. But because this is just going to be for leisure use, it just doesn't make sense to me to feel right. So I just went for standard Tamiya paint, but I really, really like that blue. So the next plan is I'll get the other window covers up in the time lapse. So I've got the stickers here, and it's oh god, with the fact that you have to cut those stickers out. Hopefully I won't end up spending too long on that, but here we go. So a couple of things. I do really wish that these stickers were etched out already rather than had to cut out because of the slight mess I've left behind. I didn't keep track of how long it actually took, and some bits may not make the time lapse because for some reason the camera just turned itself off on the power source it's on. But anyway, here we have it. I'm pretty much finished with this, and I'm actually really happy with the end result. Now, some stickers I've decided not to put on for two reasons. One, because some of the black ones, like for example these all-out Aldridge, wouldn't show very well on the blue like this one did. She doesn't show up too bad thinking about it, but I decided to do that instead of these, just because I don't know why actually, but anyway. Other stickers I decided not to do were these yellow lines. There's two of these. Yeah, so these which would go around here, I decided not to put them on because had they been etched, I would have put them on, but because of how long I would have spent trying to cut them out and suffering industrial bouts of OCDs, I just kind of decided not to. But I'm happy with how it is, and to be honest, I don't really think it needs the yellow bits there. It looks perfectly fine without it. And I was originally thinking about putting different coloured wheel hubs on because I wasn't really keen on the yellow, but now that I've seen it on, the yellow has really grown on me. And that's pretty much the buggy done. The only thing I really need to do is to get this trimmed, but I won't show that in the video. The next time you do see this, it will be me taking out to the industrial state and testing it out. So while I'm waiting for the batteries to finish charging, I'm trimming off one of the body poles just using this pair of cutters, which is actually doing it quite a lot more neatly than I thought it would be. There's just a few little bits that I've pre-cut off. So the way I'm just going about doing this is, if I just tap to focus, yep, there we go. So just hold it on like that, and don't put too much force on it, but just a little tiny bit, so it squeeze it just a little bit from that end, and then spin it round. Maybe spin it around just a little bit more. And one more time just for luck, it should come off quite cleanly. And there you have it. Quite a bit smoother. I might, well, I didn't really do it quite as smooth on that one. I might just, hang on a minute, I'll have to put the camera down. Okay, this should be a lot easier. So, just not going to push it down a bit too much, maybe just... Actually, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's actually quite nice and smooth. Not as even, but it's smooth. So there we have it. Looks a lot better now without having that stuck up at the front. There's all the little bits of trimming there. I was just using that box to put the camera on, and that ESC is actually in that, which was featured in the previous video. So once the batteries are finished charging, I'm gonna take this out to the industrial estate car park and see how it performs. Yeah. Alright, so I brought it along to this industrial estate, which my regular subscribers will be familiar with. It's one that's just probably about a 5-minute walk from my house, so it's quite a nice open space to play with. Now, got my transmitter at the ready. I've given the batteries a fully charge. One thing I'm going to do with this, however, is as soon as I turn the car on, I'm going to set a timer on my phone, because I want to see how long the battery in this setup lasts, especially with the fan that's going on the ESC. So I'm going to get the car turned on, timer at the ready, and let's see how this thing runs. Alright, so, moment of truth. Let's go. Oh wow, that's... I tell you what, that is a lot more faster than I actually thought it would be, and that is on a 7.2 volt nickel metal hard drive pack. That is incredible. Oh, there's a car coming. I'll just get that out of harm's way. Probably just over there should be fine. Hang on a minute. The ground's a bit wet and slippery. That might explain why it's sliding about a little bit, but obviously on grass that will be a different story. What I also find funny is the turning circle, I'd imagine also because of the ground conditions, is a lot bigger than I thought it would be, but I'm amazed at the speed of this. I can't wait to see how this thing runs on a 7.2 volt LiPo, and if I'm brave enough, hoping that it doesn't destroy itself, 3S LiPos, because I know, but wow. Yeah, so I'm happy with that, so gonna run it around for a little bit. I'm probably not gonna go off-road with it because the grass is a little bit wet and I don't want to get this thing dirty already. But amazing.
Them has kept me astray. Too soon to act on it, can we ever be? That all depends on what you're feeling from me. Show you all the way. Right,
well this isn't good. I was filming a bit for TikTok and completely out of nowhere it leans to the left and right, so I'll have to take the body off and see what's happened. Oh, okay, so it was a lot worse than I thought. So the bolt has, oh dear, my body's blowing off in the wind. So the bolt has actually come off. It doesn't look like it's snapped off by the looks of it, but I was hoping, please don't be expensive, so I'm going to try and locate that other bolt and work out where it's gone. But battery wise, I've been running this thing for just over 12 minutes and these packs seem to be going a long way in this brushless setup, so I'm really happy with how this has been performing. Yeah, so now I just got to find out where the hell that other bolt has gone. So this was the area where it crashed into, and I have a feeling that that bolt, it's a black one as well, it's going to be long gone, and I think a washer came off as well, but thankfully that's no big of a deal. I do have spare bolts long. I probably should have put some longer ones on, because the ones I put in there didn't feel long enough, the ones that came with the metal upgrades that I ordered for this. So I think I'm going to have to call that it for now. Shame I can't drive it back home, and also there's a scuff on it. I've only just built this thing. Not really much scuffs on the bottom, which I think is a bit of a surprise. So I'm going to take this back home, hopefully fix it up, maybe run it round outside my road for a little bit and see where it goes from there. Okay, so the bolts that were holding in the linkages there were this long, so it's little wonder why one of them ended up falling out. So I'm going to be replacing them with these ones, which were originally in the sensor there, but I've taken those bolts out and replaced them with ones that are 20mm. So one of these bolts is in there, for example, and I've only just tightened it down until I could feel a resistance. So I'm going to be doing the same on that side, but it should be done in no time. So after putting some longer bolts in, well, the bolts that were originally there are now there, and putting some longer ones there, I think that might be better than it was before, actually, thinking about it, because if you look at the bolt in the centre, it actually centralises a lot better. Yeah, that's better. One of the things I've also done as well is I put a bit of this zap thread locker in the threaded area around this area, so should anything happen, that should hold it in a lot better. But considering the impact I had early, it's actually held up really well. Little bit of a scuff, but actually didn't put it. So I do want to give this a little quick run to show my dad as well. But because of how dark it is, I might have to put the light on the camera. All right, so after leaving it to dry for a bit and finding my camera light, so I'll go down there a little bit, so it's actually just a little bit wary in case the thing happens again. Like, hang on. Yeah, I think that'll do. I'm very, very happy with that. So you may notice I've not shaved for this part of the video. I've been filming this over the course of 5 days, and since I'm not really going out anywhere, but I will be shaving this later tonight because I'll be doing bonfire nights the day after this. But anyway, in terms of how this thing runs with the brushless setup, I'm very satisfied with how it runs. The control may not be the greatest, but it's perfect for my liking, and it's manageable for me, so I don't really have major issues with the control and the acceleration. But yeah, quite happy with that. And the I'll try that one more. So Surpass Hobby stuff is actually pretty good, considering what you pay for. So if you're looking to go brushless and not on a budget, I would definitely recommend it. And I'm amazed the speed of this thing, considering it's only running on the 7.2 volt nickel metal hydride packs, is incredible. I was not prepared for it to be anywhere near as fast as it was, and eventually I do want to try it on 7.4 volts. But if I'm feeling brave enough, because the setup can handle it just fine, but I'm more worried about the gears and the drive system in the buggy itself. I was wondering if that can handle 3S. Might be a bit of a risky one, but anyway. So this was the brushless build of the Tamiya Plasma Edge. Only my third attempt at building a Tamiya kit. 5th overall wand I've ever owned, but the first ever Tamiya kit that I've had anything brushless put into it. And I said that if I was going to get a 4-wheel drive buggy that's a Tamiya kit, I was definitely going to put brushless stuff in it. The brushless stuff, I can't think. Oh, it's up there somewhere. So the motor and the ESC. I'm really glad I did not put this inside this, because brushless, because of how much speed. Because I've got, I think it was a 4,300 and something kV motor in it. I am so happy with how this thing runs, and I always say that I would recommend it for the Rising Fighter or something similar to that, because having tried my Rising Fighter on 3S, because of the speed it ended up going, I don't think that can handle brushless, but definitely put brushless into something like this, and you'll thank me later. And the other thing I nearly forgot to talk about as well was the impact I had on the bumper from when it leaned into the direction suddenly. The steering, I think I've got sorted out. I'll have to test it out tomorrow depending on the weather when I take this over for bonfire night. But over the front, apart from a scuff on the bumper, it has held up phenomenally. I think that I don't know if that had anything to do with it, with the slight, whatever you call it, on the screw. But anyway, that's all I have to say for this video. Next week's video, I will be doing some coverage of bonfire night, like a sort of a little family personal thing. So I just thought I'd stick that out on YouTube, just to give some other excuses, because I need more excuses to use this channel, just as a backup plan, just in case anything ever does happen. But until then, thank you so much for watching this video, and see you next week.